So let's see how well ArF are prepared for their home map, Vinlandsaga, and how AoL can accommodate to it. TCs are distributed quite occasionally on the map, which has been sometimes a problem in the past seasons, especially the finals, if you remember. But well, the first one to have a look at on the left is right now Torgale, who is going for a dock at the back of his base and going with all of his oracles into the boat to transport them to the mainland. One is already dead for ArF Adhafang, so he has learned from the optimized building order from his opponents, deities of Death B, and delete one oracle. I'll reckon right now saying the same, that needs to happen. Yep, that's the correct strategy on this map if you want the optimized build order, because otherwise you either have to slow down your production on fishing boats or you have to wait with Willy production, which is both pretty bad. So sacrificing one of those oracles is pretty much okay, especially when everybody else is doing it as well. So guys just spreading out over the island right now. So far it's Priyatno together with Arhafang. Other guys still doing pretty much the same, I think. And everybody going for some docks. This is more like so much an aggressive one, but still it's close to his opponent. So yeah, let's say it's aggressive one. And goes for Berserker. And pretty much the only one who went for a defensive one was at the beginning Torgale. Otherwise everybody is going into the forefront, and well, Rikon is going for more defensive one as well. And yeah, on this map the fish are usually pretty well spread out. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them. There shouldn't be any problem with that. So first relic has been discovered on the mainland, and that's Villager Gold Gatherate. Okay, that's a pretty sweet one, but since we don't have any Eggy here, for example, like Mista like to play this set, I think, and go in beast mode for him. With him, that's not going to happen here anytime soon. Go 6 with these up, I think. Yeah, AoL just trying to somehow figure out what they should be doing on the map, and hopefully for them, they will do that just in time, not to be far behind their opponents. So AoL Berserker right now, waiting for some extra food for his release. And well, how's it looking for ArF Priyatno? Not having idle time, either of them, it seems. Yep. So they should be ready anytime soon to actually advance. We are at 220, so Temple might be about getting started. Yeah, village already being transported by Adhafang, so he will be thinking about Temple. So let's see where he actually lands and starts to build. Let's see where the position will be. Is he going for either the gold or the extra TC? He probably doesn't know about it yet. So he will probably go for the gold and build somewhere on the left. Yeah, on the left here. So that's a position that's kind of open and doesn't secure all that much. It's kind of curious as right now AoLs will have slight advantage on the right if they land at this point, because Torgale is having line of sight. So yeah, just take back what I was saying a bit earlier of not seeing this, and it's like all ARFs are going for the left. Both Torgale and Adafang here, and Priyatno shouldn't be far behind, and he's already here and he's closer to the water, trying to up as soon as possible probably. Yeah, just waiting for the rest of the resources right now. How's it looking for his teammates? They should be finishing just about the correct time as well. Well, Temple on your mainland is actually not the greatest of ideas, obviously. So that's a light problem for all AoLs, I think. Although yes. Recon will be the first to advance, so he might be having an advantage there. But all three AoLs, very curiously, went for the Temple at their main island. I'm not exactly sure what they want to achieve with that, because with Oranos, you definitely need your military production on the mainland here. And that's going to be the Prometheans from the temples. So kinda curious, really. And well, Recon is switching with absolutely everything, and unfortunately for him, Torgale was at the right spot and he has seen absolutely everything. And this could result in a pretty terrible disaster and a very fast GG, because he won't be having the temple here. And if these guys send the Prometheans right on, well, they are still some ways behind. They could kill some of those release here because they have nothing. If they can kill the boat as well, well, not very nice moments waiting for you here. And it seems like Iron Maiden is taking it a bit more cautiously, that's the right word and pronunciation, as he was well aware that Torgeil is here and scouting and will know where Rickon is with absolutely everything. So he's moving to the left, but being discovered as well by Radafang, but he just might have missed him, but he will discover him anyway, because yeah, the line of sight will pass that, I think, just the corner, it might. Otherwise, on the water we see some first battles as Berserker together with Rickon are trying to put their opponents off the water economy, which is an idea that might work because Torgeil and Adafang and neither Priatno are actually doing anything about the water battle here, and they will be just open to abuse by just a few boats here. And here we have a first Valor, Rickon transporting his Promethean, and well, he is himself under attack, but since he has made one of his willies into heroes, that result in the Promethean raiding not being successful at all, and since the house is here, protection is in place as well. So yeah, that was the one thing that I was kinda afraid about for AoLs, but they were able to handle it. ARFs were slightly slower, but still, looking at all the buildings here, ARFs are definitely ahead, and I like it by a ton. They are having quite a lot of villies here as well. This one not getting in, but now she is. But well, all those economy buildings and military buildings rather, together with military barracks and pretty decent army, and yeah, even piggies are recruited to deal damage to their opponents. Fun fact, piggies were actually used in military in the Middle Ages to actually undermine fortifications. They just built the tunnels under walls, push the animals in, and they just lit them on fire. Because of the extra fat, yeah, that was a pretty potent weapon to take down the walls. Anyway, going back to the game here, we see some extra relic, 10% villages farming rate, so we have gold rate and farming as well, so that's that. And well, Berserker is having kind of separate buildings here on the right, kind of a bit farther away from his teammate Rickon and Iron Maiden, and Rickon is kind of away or only here, but they can rely on the help from the water, which is right now the only thing saving them, I think, because otherwise they should be overpowered by their opponents in just a matter of moments. And yeah, they are going for it from the left, and this will be a pretty strong army of all three ARFs, and I'm not sure that there's enough army for AoLs to stop that, but still the fighting will be going on near the military buildings of AoL, which should mean with a proper micro they might be able to take down what's happening here. So let's see. So many Prometheans, can't really see that all that often either. A bit of a shockwave battle and some extra reinforcements, and it slightly seems to be going into ARF's favor, but I wouldn't really say all that convincingly. And yes, again, if AoL keep their heads and properly micro, especially using this very nicely placed wall, they might be just fine, because they are near their military production buildings, and ARF just have to send everything all across the map, even though the reinforcements are not half bad and actually quite strong. Nobody is yet taking a second TC, so everything is just now happening at the top. Well, they are trying to get into the villas, but that's why the manor is being built, and they will be just in time to actually... yeah, just in time, but one has been killed, and this army is right now getting a bit out of hand for AoLs, even though I was saying that the reinforcements should be taking long to arrive. They are doing quite well, and the early advantage is kinda paying off, and it seems to be because ARF's army composition is mostly in melee units, whereas in AoLs it's a whole lot of Turmas, which don't have all that great attack. At the same time, Iron Maiden is right now splitting from his main troops, from its main clan's troops, and trying to make sure that the reinforcements are not arriving, which is a pretty good idea, because if they can split the army, it will be all that easier to actually defend. So yeah, this is a pretty good fight, and reasonably going to AoL's defense. So that's okay, and it seems like first TC is being built, and that's by ArF Priatno, and also his teammate Arafang. So yeah, AoL's window of opportunity to do something with the game is closing, but they have at least been able to stop the production on the water. Well, yeah, they haven't, because they are not doing anything. They are just concentrating on micro, it seems, which is slightly a shame, because ArF is having quite a lot of fishing boats, and that's a lot of echo for him. Quite a lot of echo. So this situation seems to be contained, more or less. And here I see some extra boats from ArF, who is actually defending on the water. Okay, so finally something interesting happening on here, and that seems to be backfiring for AoLs. Maybe if they left their opponents alone, they would have left them alone as well. AoL are trying to somehow expand on the right side. He is going somewhere else, and how did this really die? Probably by Skrelings, I would think, but it's curious and it's unexpected loss for all of these teams. So huge battle here in the middle though, with quite some armies, and AoLs have to be careful at this point because their composition is not all that great. They are not having all that many melee units, just compared to ArF. ArF are having a lot more, but come on Torgale, micro a bit, you're just losing units needlessly at this point. That's not something you want when you are playing a mirror of 3 Oranosses versus 3 Oranosses as well. Torgale is capturing second TC as well. You have a quick look at the minimap. They are trying to somehow push through the AoL's opposition, because they are seeing that it's not going all that well and they will need some extra population limit to go for it. AoL Iron Maiden is going for a sneaky one, as he's capturing a TC at the back, which is a damn good idea, because ArF are fighting right in the middle and not really paying attention at all to what is happening at the back. Right now Iron Maiden is trying to make sure that he has a proper scouting on absolutely everything, and he will potentially discover this, which he already did through the Oracle. I think he had line of sight on this Willy, which means no TC for Torgale, and that Willy's at the same time, because they have absolutely nowhere to run. But still he will capture at least this one on the left. Otherwise though, the battle is still raging on. Still kind of undecided, even though looking at it right now I would have to say ArF is slightly ahead, but this is shifting just by seconds. That means that basically the battle is more or less equal. On the water though, it seems like ArF has been able to kill everything that didn't belong to his colors. Means that everybody is right now gathering safely. Yeah, he's not really interested in trying to put his opponents out of the water either. So that's that, and well, let's have a look. How's it looking at the top? Iron Maiden just finishing the settlement at the top, so that should give him a bit of a push, but will it? Because the extra resources that he has invested in the TC placement or building will now just be missing in the military. As you can see, he has basically nothing, just a sad little army against all this, and well, let's see if this decision will cost them the game or not, but at the same time we kinda had to, because ArFs are going for the extra TCs. Without any stopping. Well, you can't really stay behind if you are hoping to win. So right now this is developing into kind of 1v1 between ArF and his enemy Berserker. And here at the bottom it seems like Maiden doesn't have anything, and neither does Recon. So where is his army? Oh, here it is. So he kinda abandoned all his allies, arriving at this spot, maybe killing 2 of those Willies, but not stopping the TC. Yeah, he does kill the Willies, that's at least something. But at the same time, Priyatno is trying to scout ahead together with ArF and make sure that TCs are not being captured anywhere without their supervision, which is a pretty good idea. Well, here the battle is still going pretty strong. ArF is trusting himself enough that he can somehow overcome Berserker, but it doesn't seem like, as the advantage of military buildings is yet again pretty important, but with Priyatno arriving at this scene, yeah, the battle is changing yet again, and right now ArF doesn't have to retreat, and Berserker will be the one that will have to think up something new. Especially with Torgale making an appearance with few of the armies here as well. So this seems to be a pretty much one battle for the ArFs, but where did ArF go? Well, those Murmilos are pretty badass in close quarters, and yeah, the choke point actually was the one that decided the battle. But still, Torgale is killing everything that's in his way, and right now it means that Berserker is basically out of this battle here, as he cannot fight against all this. At the bottom, Iron Maiden is not having enough army to somehow gauge his opponents at this point, and ArF together with Priatno are doing well enough by themselves in multiple spots, and Priatno himself is actually right now stealing a TC from his opponents, and he will be at 3. Torgale already is at 3, as he has captured one of the left side.
Yes.
Well, not even Recon's raiding can do anything about it. At the back, Iron Maiden was trying to make something happen here, but yeah, AoL has recognized that the game is lost, especially because of Berserker being killed on the right side, and well, they are GG'd out, and we will be seeing a decider on random. So, very nice usage of the special ability that you can use on RTS League, the home map, and taking Vinlandsaga and beating your opponents fair and square. Oh no, I wouldn't say that. Berserker really. If you have a look here, no, they're definitely not in a better position. You need to make the division line between the third islands, between here, which means more of the TCs were actually on your side. So yeah, I would quit complaining if I were you. But anyway, this wasn't lost on the TCs or anything. This was won basically on ArFs, choosing the correct strategy, the correct home map, and knowing what they were doing. A pretty good job on that, and ArF being the MVP. But Iron Maiden doing pretty well as well in the economy. Half bad himself, but unfortunately the military department it wasn't all that great. You can see military count not half bad, but few units killed, and AoLs were just forced to all the wrong fights that they didn't want to take. No, map wasn't imbalanced. It was just that you didn't know how to play it. A huge loss in villagers, but that's probably a fishing boats, I would guess, because AoLs were pretty fast onto the water. So yeah, that's definitely going to be fishing boats there. Because I don't really remember any huge raiding on his fillies the whole game. Wow, he had a lot of food, Hadafang. He was definitely aiming to advance, it seemed. A lot of wood as well. Not enough gold, but otherwise pretty sweet. Well, GG then.